Selena Gomez has returned to music with her first full-length album since 2020's Rare. I Said I Love You First is a collaborative effort with her fiance and producer, Benny Blanco. I came into this record a little skeptical, but after listening to it, I think that this might actually be Selena's best record since 2015's Revival. It tells a pretty compelling front-to-back story recapping Selena's journey to finding love and peace over her decades-long career. This album clocks in at 14 tracks, 2 of which are interludes, and runs at under 35 minutes, which makes it a very short and breezy listen. It's also the first LP owned by Selena herself under her SMG music label. I think that's really cool. There's a lot of guests on this record, a Charlie XCX co-pen banger, and a surprise cameo that had me cracking up. More on that later. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the background of the record, its singles, and then I'll do a track-by-track review, and then give it a final score. A quick little recap about Benny and nearly retiring. The last time I covered Selena was for Rare, a record that I really liked quite a bit, even though I found it a little bit anonymous, like patchwork demos put together on an album rather than a story. A lot has happened since then. Rare was pretty much abandoned after a deluxe version. Selena would go on to do a cooking show during the pandemic. She would collab with Blackpink on the Ariana Grande co-penned hit single Ice Cream. Love that song. Her first Spanish music project, Revelación, released in March 2021. I personally loved it. I thought it was an underrated record that really blended together Latin pop, R&B, and reggaeton in such an effortless way. It was critically acclaimed and signaled a new direction for her, but the biggest thing that happened to her was joining Only Murders in the Building for Hulu. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's wonderful. There's 4 seasons out. She plays Maeve. It is critically loved. I think it's even a ratings hit. But she also didn't give up on music. She would release a few collabs and droplets like Calm Down with Rema, which marked her 9th top 10 hit, My Mind and Me, which was an accompaniment to a documentary about mental health, which I liked on Apple Plus, and also Single Soon, which did okay. Single Soon ironically led to her reconnecting with and eventually dating Benny Blanco, who co-produced that track. Blanco and Gomez previously worked together on Revival, on Same Old Love, and Kill 'Em With Kindness. They also worked on I Can't Get Enough with Taney and J Balvin. It's a track that was included on this album, released in 2019. Early last year, Selena revealed that she loved acting more than music and referred to music as a hobby that kind of just evolved out of her Disney years into a career, which is something that led many fans to believe that she was retiring from music. It also didn't help that she dropped this really cute disco pop single Love On, which underperformed compared to her earlier works, and most of 2024 was actually dedicated to promoting Amelia Perez, a now infamous Netflix musical film that she appeared in as Jessie, the title character's ex-wife. Gomez was actually praised and even nominated for her turn for the BAFTAs, I believe. She'd also returned to produce and once again play the iconic role of Alex Russo in Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, a sequel to her star-making series on Disney. She ended 2024 announcing her engagement to Blanco and then surprised us all on Valentine's Day by announcing a new record with Blanco, dropping promo single Scared to Love You. The first proper single, Call Me When You Break Up, featuring Gracie Abrams, dropped that week too. She also dropped Sunset Boulevard, which is a promo single, and a return to Dream Pop, which released this March. And now the album is here. So let's get into my overall thoughts. I have always considered Selena underrated in the sense that her artistry has always been her vision. She is great at curating trends, predicting what will be hot. I think she pioneered whisper pop, something Benny has even said himself. I think Rare Beauty beat a lot of other brands to the punch. Instinctually, she just knows what works for her. Some say that she has limited vocal range, but I think she's very versatile when it comes to genre and aware of her limitations. She really stepped out of her comfort zone on this record. I feel like this is her least commercial project yet. Ironic considering Benny's past as a hit producer. I was gonna critique the single choices, but this is an album. As in, like, the pieces really make sense when listened to as a body of work rather than singles. There's a really good mix of ballads and bops, but the record really flows pretty well front to back. I think the track listing really works. The co-producing roster is stacked. We have Phineas on Younger and Hotter Than Me, Dylan Brady on a Gracie Abrams track, and Bluest Flame, a Charlie XCX co-write that has her vocals on it, Cashmere Cat, Blake Slatkin, who had just worked on Tate McRae's So Close to What. Still, despite all that, the record feels really artsy, leisurely. It's unconcerned about charting or commercial success. Nothing screams radio bait or TikTok trend manufactured. There's an artistic vision to this album, a clear story that sees her exit a bad relationship with an ex, and life in general. To sort of enter a period of maturity and grace, many tracks pay tribute to her previous sounds over the years. Those who miss her 2017 dark pop droplets leading up to the Scrap Seven Heavens record will be very happy. I love when Selena taps into dream pop sounds and synths. Her soft voice really complements that soundscape perfectly. One track that I instantly loved was You Said You Were Sorry, an early Lana Del Rey alt pop track that just feels very ethereal. It sounds like early Lana Del Rey. I find it interesting that artists are interacting with their past this candidly. Gaga recently did it with Mayhem. Here, Benny and Selena lovingly re-examine sounds from Revival, Rare, the droplets, the deep cuts to really make something that feels like a worthy album. Even putting I Can't Get Enough from 2019 makes some sort of sense. It doesn't feel like a cash grab move. One thing I want to touch on are the features. Gracie Abrams' verse on Call Me When You Break Up adds to the song. The Marias appear on Ojos Tristes. Pardon my Spanish, I'm terrible at it. I'm a gringo. That song was a highlight of mine. Glorilla does the outro on The Sultry Cowboy, adding some humor and levity at the end. Charlie XCX has some background vocals on Bluest Flames, a Brat-adjacent early Sophie-influenced banger. Selena's chameleonic voice and presence allow all of these features to flourish. That's not to say that this record is perfect. For one, a lot of the songs feel incomplete, not production-wise, but lengths-wise. Just as you get into the tracks, they just cut off or end unceremoniously. The interludes are cute little bookends, but they don't really have replay value. Before I do my track-by-track and score, I do want to briefly touch on Benny and Selena's public-facing relationship, as it does fill in the context of the record. I think much of the antics that they've been up to are promotional stunts for this project. The tub of queso will always haunt my dreams. As collaborators, it's very clear, though, that Benny loves and really gets Selena enough to really just bring out her strengths. I don't get the hate that he gets. It feels like high school nonsense. They seem pretty happy, and this record reflects that pretty well. And now, the track-by-track. The record opens with I Said I Love You First, a recording of Gomez's last speech with the Wizards of Waverly Place cast, thanking them for growing up with her, with Phineas's interpretation instrumentally and the context that she's thanking fans now. It really feels like a sweet opening. Younger and Hotter Than Me is the current single, and it's a touching ballad co-written and co-produced by Phineas, sort of a follow-up to their previous collab, Lose You to Love Me. The music video really hammers in the deeper themes. It sees her recreate the Wizard set, and it speaks from a nostalgic but dark place. The lyrics frame this comparison between her and an ex's new, younger lover, but I think she's actually talking about her place in the industry and how it discards people for growing older. It's one of her best ballads, haunting, devastating. The bridge adds much needed energy. Call Me When You Break Up is the catchiest track, but it's also the most empty. It's just way too short. The post-chorus, I'll Make It Worth It, is very hooky. I just didn't realize that this track was about a best friend whose relationship is doomed, and Selena calling her to be like, I got you. Like, I will help you. Gracie's verse is really cute, and it really fits the song well, and it, gives some personality, but the lack of a bridge makes the song a little hard to follow and a little unpolished, which is a shame. There's no catharsis to this track. It builds up to something that never happens. Ojos Tristes with the Marias is a standout. It's this Aladdin-infused synth pop track that has a cool 80s sheen to it. It's familiar, it's atmospheric, it's cinematic. Selena paints the story about a boy with sad eyes. The bridge with Maria Zardoya. Again, I have probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. It's just so dreamy, and it's about how this boy who's sad finally has this reason to smile again because of this girl, and she can heal him, but they ultimately just don't end up working out. The outro sounds so beautiful on speakers. It is one of the best produced tracks on this record. Don't Wanna Cry has a disco sheen to it that makes me think that this could be a single. Like, this could actually break out. The production is pitch perfect. It reminds me of her earlier Selena Gomez in the Scene days, like Love You Like a Love Song, but set in 2025. It is a straightforward kiss-off anthem about a toxic ex. The bridge has a sense of finality to the track and marks her moving on. Let's talk about the outro. outro, it is giving Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia, Magic, just an absolute bop. Go listen to it. If there's any track to save, it's this one. Sunset Boulevard being about Selena and Benny's first date, and coming after this track actually does make sense in the story. There's a playfulness in the pre-chorus with a big, hard heart line. It's nice to see her humor come through. Selena's a really funny person. The chorus just soars out of nowhere, which gives a sense of surprise, evoking love sneaking up on you. I really thought of Troye Sivan's work on In a Dream here. I feel like the bridge being this fun, whispery thing that grows into a final chorus does elevate this track to a favorite of mine. Cowboy is another personal highlight. It feels like the sort of track the Droplets era would make, her Droplets era self. It just really reminded me of Fetish. This track gives me Good For You. It's whisper pop, it's cool, it's sexy, it's very on trend because a lot of people are trying to channel that sound again. I love the brief underwater effect on verse 2 when she sings that line. The chorus is camp to read aloud, but she makes it work through the delivery, and the outro where Glorilla just comes in and makes us laugh again, brings us back down to earth. It's just a really good track. It feels a little undercooked. I wish that there was a little bit more time spent on the chorus and the pre-chorus, but regardless, it's a really good song. Bluest Flame is just so bad, but also Roll With Me. It's like number one Angel. Charlie XCX and Selena Gomez should collaborate more. Same Old Love is a classic. Bluest Flame is proof that Selena could have rode with Charlie on the Brat remix album. Most of the song is repetitive, comparing the heat of love to Blue Fire, the hottest flames. The verse that breaks the song in two is so Charlie. It feels so Charlie, and the outro is just heavenly, hypnotic. It's actually one of Benny's finest moments as a producer on the album. How does it feel to be forgotten is a stripped-down ballad that finally sees her clock her exes. I think it's a very classy flip-up anthem, asking her exes if they finally get how it feels to be forgotten. The pre-chorus has one of them come in and just act like nothing's changed. She's like, I've moved on. You're so embarrassing. Go cry when no one's watching. Very brutal. But hear me out. The outro sounds just like the opening to Stained, which makes me think a double album is coming. Anyone in the comments, let me know if you think that's the case. We get a very tongue-in-cheek interlude, Do You Want to Be Perfect, which has Selena cut an advertisement short to cut down unrealistic standards. I think it's funny. You Said You Were Sorry is a personal favorite of mine, top 3 track. It's this Lana Del Rey-esque slow burn track where she just glides on the vocals. The lyricism shines as one of the more developed songs. I really love the chorus because you really get to see what she's envisioning, her ex apologizing to her and then them crying and then her realizing that fantasizing about it was enough for her. The final little violin bit is just so Born to Die, Paradise, Tropico, but also really Selena. I love it. It's just theatrical, it's operatic. Listen to it. Personally, I just think it's cute. I Can't Get Enough is on here. It's a pretty conventional track, but it feels very dated. Don't Take It Personally is a pointed comeback. I'm not going to say who this is about because I don't want to invoke her name, but you know who she is. If someone released this track about me, I would never recover. It's another simpler acoustic track, but the lyrics are very scathing. I was living when she sang You Probably Got a Dartboard of My Face right in the middle, just cracked me up because I do think that that's so true. The chorus is so petty. We both know that he loves me and that some things are just meant to be. The point of view is very interesting because you could argue it's from both sides. The bridge Forever and Ever makes me think that this could and should have been the closer to the record. But then we got Scared of Loving You, which is a very sweet acoustic closer that's about being scared to repeat past mistakes with someone that she's currently with. It's just very too short. I would have loved a bridge or just something to build it out, but the verses really do add dimension and grit to it. The question at the end, how could they love you as much as I do, kind of ends the record on a grounded, melancholic note, which is very on brand for Selena. I feel like she's a master of melancholy. But also, it's just kind of a downer on your love album. Overall, I really do like this album for what it is. I will say that I do think it sets up Selena to continue music in a fresher, bolder, more passionate way. I get the vision. I I think this as a record is stronger than its individual songs, but between the length issues and some of it feeling undercooked, I have to rate it a 7.7 out of 10. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning into this very quick review of Selena's new album. I covered her 5 years ago. I actually really like her a lot, and I'm planning to work on a revival 10-year anniversary video. Let me know if you guys want that. I'm in the planning stages of it. I think that that rebrand is one of my favorite ones in history. Let me know what your favorite track was below. Please limit the hate towards Benny Blanco in the comments. Like, I feel like a lot of the comments are gonna be people dragging him for his appearance. I think he's a talented producer. Love and kindness, please don't shade him. A quick shout out to my members. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and taking that extra step. And a shout out to my subscribers. Thank you so much for giving me a reason to post videos and interact with you guys. I've had so much fun working on the Gaga videos. I'm still working on Born This Way. I think that's going to be out in June, maybe April for my birthday, who knows. And I will be back next week to review Eternal Sunshine Deluxe. So I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much. Bye.